You'll notice that during this Lenten season, all of the services on the weekend at St. Mark's begin with a recitation of the Decalogue, or the Ten Commandments. And most of us know most of those commandments by heart, and they kind of can sometimes feel like old words from a long time ago that don't really apply to us, or we don't really consider them to be imperative in our relationships with God and with one another. But I invite you to re-examine those commandments in a more serious way this Lent. And I'm particularly going to ask you to be drawn to that first commandment where God says to Moses, and therefore to you and to me, "You shall have no other gods but me." We are idol makers. Our hearts are constantly making new gods. And we worship many, many different gods if we're really honest with ourselves. And I often wonder if God, the God we meet in Jesus Christ, is able to compete with all the idols that you and I have. There's a great quote going around the internet by Annie Lamott, who's an Episcopalian, a prolific author, kind of known to many of you, and she's great. And her quote says this: "You can safely assume you've created God in your own image when it turns out that God hates all the same people you do." Get that? Do you hear that? You can safely assume you've created God in your own image when it turns out that God hates all the same people you do. The Ten Commandments are all about loving God and loving neighbor as God loves us. So rather than trying to create an idol that actually supports your view of other people, maybe we all need to submit ourselves to the view God has of other people as we seek to be faithful to God, and in turn being faithful to others, even others who are the most different from us. Lent is a great opportunity to dig deep into your spiritual life, into the relationships that you have with God and with one another. May the Ten Commandments draw you closer to the real God, not the idol that you and I carry within our hearts. See you Sunday.